Hi, this is Alan Edmond. I'm president of Henderson Aquatics. We've had many requests to create a custom measuring video. Today I'd like to personally go through each measurement with you and help you understand how easy it is for you to get good measurements and in return get a good fitting custom suit. What makes our Gerber cutter so unique is it has a repeat accuracy of plus or minus 0.02 of an inch. This allows us to have parts that are cut identically the same whether they're cut this week, next week, or next month. That way your customer gets a fit that is precisely the same all the time. There are 4 important general rules for measuring custom suits that are important to keep in mind. The first thing is that you should choose a tape measure that has inches on only one side. If it has inches on both sides, scratch off one side with an indelible marker. Because if you get the tape twisted, like around a waist measurement, you could get the wrong reading by accident and not realize it. The tape should not indent the flesh. It should not be snugly pulled because you can get a measurement smaller than the circumference. You should have one store personnel do all measuring. We've found in the past that if you take more than one person doing custom measurements on the same person, they'll all come up with slightly different measurements. So it's important to have one dedicated person that does all your store measuring. The other thing is that this person should wear, during the time of the measurement, whatever it is they're going to wear underneath the wetsuit or dry suit that you're measuring for. A lycra skin is ideal. Carrie's volunteered to be my subject here. Hopefully she's not ticklish. We're going to start with the chested armpit. Taken as high up on the chest as possible. I would say Carrie is 33. Chest or bust. You can put your arms back down. It's right across the largest part of the bust line. 33.5. Next measurement is the waist. The waist measurement is at the smallest part, which is 24.5. The hips should be at the largest point. Okay, I get 36. And then we move up to the bicep. Bicep should be midpoint between the armpit and the elbow. And I'm not indenting the flesh, I'm just lightly pulling the tape. This is 9 5/8. The elbow measurement is right over the elbow bone. This would be 9 1/8. The forearm is about 2 inches down from the elbow, which is at the largest part of the arm. This would be 8 5/8. The wrist measurement, I'm going to slide the skin up just a little bit. It should not be over the bone. It should be over the smallest part of the wrist. So I could come back behind the wrist bone. And I'm going to get 5 3/4 of an inch. Okay, the neck. If Carrie can move her hair back for me. Okay. Neck measurement is 11 5/8. Okay, armpit to wrist. If we hold the arm straight out to the side, just face normally. You don't want to put the tape in the armpit. It should be right up against the lateral muscle on the side of the chest. And then what you can do is come out to a point on the wrist and you can ask the customer, how far out the wrist would you like your suit? Usually I'll come to where the suit should be right here, just as the hand starts to join the wrist. So I would say Carrie's about 20 inches. Elbow to wrist, sometimes you have to bend the arm just slightly so you can tell where the elbow is. And if you can stand behind him and go from the point of the elbow bone to that same point on the wrist that you measured previously. I would say 10 inches, maybe 9 7/8. Okay, thigh. I always stand to the side of the person, take the tape, and just come at the highest point all the way around the thigh. 21 7/8. The knee is directly over the kneecap. 14 1/4. The calf dimension is over the largest part of the muscle. So if you can see, I could take a couple measurements. This, I think that's 13 1/4. Let me move up a tad. 13 1/4. I'll go down a little bit. I got 13 1/4. The ankle measurement should be just above the ankle bone. If you cut it over the ankle bone, the suit becomes too large and it'll be loose in the ankle. So I'm going to go just slightly above. Here's her ankle bone right here. I'm going to come right above it, right here. I've got 8 3/8 of an inch. Okay, ankle to crotch. You never put anything in a person's crotch, so you always stand on the side of the individual and place the tape at a point even with the crotch. And then this is from the ankle, which is just above the ankle bone. So here's her ankle bone here. I want to be just above it. So this would be 27 inches. Okay, the next one, the knee, you want to go midpoint on the kneecap. So I'm going to place the tape midpoint and come down to the same point just above the ankle bone. 14 inches. Okay, crotch to floor is another measurement. It sounds just like the one we just did, but the reason for that is leg lengths are very critical to get accurately, so we do it twice. So we're actually going to do another measurement from a point even with the crotch all the way to the floor. And I'm coming up with 31¼ inches. Top of head to shoulder, you want to just see where is the top, where the her scalp would be. And you want to come down to a point right on the midpoint of the shoulder seam. I'd say Carrie is about 11¾ of an inch. The shoulder seam point is always midpoint between the neck and the shoulder at the highest point. So we'll make a series of measurements from the same point right here. So this is top of head to shoulder. We're also going to do the torso lengths from that same point. There's two torso lengths. There's kind of a straight torso length and also one across the bust line. So if you'll hold that on your bust line, I go down to a point even with a crotch, 27½ inches, and then we'll release the tape and do another measurement. You have to make sure the person you're measuring is looking straight ahead. Sometimes they'll bend over and look at you and you'll get a short measurement. Okay, and just look straight ahead now. And this is 26½. Carrie, what is your height?
5'8½".
And your weight?
116.
Okay. The reason for asking the height is that we're going to take the top of head to shoulder measurement and we're going to take the leg length measurement and then we're going to check and see how the torso measurement appears to be. Because in other words, we're using some double checks to make sure we get the correct measurement. Head circumference. This one is right over the forehead like this. Feather. 21¾ shoe.
7½.
7½ shoe. And hand size. The glove size is measured across the knuckles and the tape wraps right across the, right here, and I'm getting a measurement of 6 7/8 inches. The other measurements to do are the bust line measurements. The first measurement is from the same point on the shoulder seam down to the center of her bust line, be 8½. We do a circumference measurement just below the bust line, and this is a simple circumference measurement, 27 inches. The next measurement is tip to tip of bust. This should be from the center point to the center point of the bust line. So usually if you just take a tape and just don't touch the person, but just hold it out from carries about 6 1/4 inches. I'd like to talk about what constitutes a good fitting wetsuit. Carrie has on a stock medium suit. She's definitely not a stock medium because she has long arms. As you can see, it's short on her arms. And she's also small-waisted. But in any event, through years we've learned that the single most important thing for a diver suit is they don't like pressure on her chest. It makes them feel like they can't breathe. So it's important when we cut a suit, we never cut the chest tight compared to how we cut the waist and the hips. So it's common that when a diver has their arms at their side, it's normal to have a pucker on the front and the back of the arm. Part of the reason for this is that the sleeve is designed to attach at a 45-degree angle. So when you put your arm out at a 45, you'll find that these puckers and loosenesses disappear. The reason for the 45-degree angle is so it's a compromise. So if a person reaches overhead to grab a ladder when they're coming up a boat or on a dock, you have to have some mobility to reach overhead. The next thing is that on a custom suit, you should have, this is loose in the waist. It's not even touching Carrie's waist, so I would, on a custom, this would be contacting her firmly. A lot of people comment on why is our knee pad positioned slightly below center. I have my finger on where Carrie's knee is, and as you can see, the knee pad is favoring the shin area. The reason for that is you always kneel on your shin, which is down here. You never kneel on your upper leg up here. So Henderson always puts the knee pad where it'll do you the most good. The other thing I wanted to mention on this suit is, as you can see, the arm length. Had this been a custom suit, I had measured out to a point where her wrist just starts to blend to her hand. So this edge of the suit should have been down in this area. The final thing to remember with neoprene suits is that with excessive sunlight, all neoprene shrinks in time. So a suit is better to start out a tad loose than a tad too tight. So I would never be concerned about a suit that feels a little loose. It's just a fact of life with neoprene. Every brand will shrink in time, no question about it. Thank you, Carrie, for helping us today.
You're welcome.
And now you should all have great confidence in knowing that it's an easy process and you can also get terrific measurements. Happy measuring! Hello! There's 4 important things you gotta do to get good measurements. Go do it.